Friends, in this video, we are going to discuss a very famous novel, Sense and Sensibility, which was written by Jane Austen. Friends, Jane Austen was one of the best novelists of 17th century. Sense and Sensibility was published in 1811. This novel is one of the best 6 novels of the world. The novel, the story of this novel is something confusing because it has too many characters. I will try to explain you the story in simple words so that you can understand, realize the plot of the novel, the summary of the novel. So friends, now let us discuss the main plot of the novel. Has written a novel named Pride and Prejudice. We are mentioning that novel because it is the quality of Jane Austen that she gives the name of his novel by the temper and behavior of her character. In that novel, Darcy stands for pride and Elizabeth stands for prejudice. In the same way, in this novel, there are two main characters. Two sisters. First one is Eleanor, who stands for the sense. She always act with his weight, with his sense, with his reason. But the second one, Marian, who stands for sensibility. She always act with emotions, sensibility. Friends, here sensibility stands for emotion. Let us discuss the main summary of the novel. It is the story of Dashwood family. Mr. Henry Dashwood, after the death, he left all his property uh, to his first wife's son, as he has two wives. So after his death, he left his whole property to his first wife's son, whose name was John Dashwood. And now the second wife, Mrs. Dashwood, and her 3 daughters, left with no permanent home and very little income. John's wife, Fanny, John is half brother of Mrs. Dashwood and her 3 daughters. 3 daughters' name was Eleanor, Marian, and Margaret. John is her brother, but half brother, as his father has married 2 times. So John's wife Fanny was very jealous to the daughter of Mrs. Dashwood, and she did not want that they stay with her in that house. She did not like especially Eleanor because her brother Edward, Edward was the brother of Fanny. So Edward sometime comes to her home and have some liking for Eleanor. One day, John said that he is not responsible for their living. So at last, Mrs. Dashwood and their daughter were compelled to leave the home. Mr. Middleton are the distant relative of Mr. Dashwood, and he comes and said, you all can live with him, don't worry about Nikki what had happened, don't worry about that. After that, Mrs. Dashwood and their daughter left for Barton Park. Eleanor was sad because she knows that she cannot meet with Edward now. After that they are living in Barton Park. They have left Norland. Here they meet a man named Colonel Brandon. Colonel Brandon is a retired man of 35. Gradually, Colonel began to love with Marian, but Marian did not like him due to her age. She was a aged man of 35. Colonel Brandon was very gentle man, but it did not matter because Marian did not like him. She did not even talk to him fairly. But Colonel Brandon says nothing and keep his feelings in his heart. Dashwood family is living here. After some time, Marian meets a handsome, good-looking man named John Willoughby. and gradually she began to love him as he was very handsome and good looking. And as Marion did not like Colonel Brandon knows Willoughby fully well, but they says nothing. They did not tell Marion anything about John Willoughby, and was seeing everything. The time was passing gradually. Marion loved Willoughby as she was emotional and act in emotion. She began to love Willoughby too much. Her mother also thought that Willoughby is very good and handsome, good looking man. It may be that at last will marry with Marion. But it did not happen. As Marion and her mother was thinking, it happened as Mr. Brandon was thinking. One day Willoughby left Barton Park and says he is going to London with some business. It means he deceived Marion and her family. Now, the time was passing gradually. After some time, Edward comes there. When Eleanor knows that Edward has come, so she was very excited that Edward has come, but her feeling dozed into the ground when she came to know that Edward is engaged with someone else. In this way, both the sisters were deceived in love. After some time, Eleanor come to know that it is Lucy with whom Edward is engaged. Eleanor knows fully well about Lucy. Lucy was a very greedy and mean girl. Eleanor did not become emotional as she always used his sense and wit, and um, she did not work with emotion or sensibility. And Eleanor says that Edward deserves such a girl, and he should marry with Lucy, and Edward deserves such a girl. On the other hand, her sister Marion is still waiting for Willoughby because she was the girl of sensibility, and saying that how is it possible that Willoughby deceived her? Certainly he will come one day, but it did not happen. One day, in a party, Marian meets with Willoughby and says, "How can you deceive me? How can you do that? How can you left me?" But Willoughby says, "I do not like you. I never loved you." Marian was amazed, and it breaks her heart. Now, Mr. Brandon, when he saw the condition of Marian, he was very sad and said that it is the character of Willoughby. He has done this with some other girls also. He has when Marian saw the sympathy of Colonel Brandon, and she knows that Colonel Brandon told him the reality of John Willoughby. So now she has some sympathy in the core of his heart, and the feelings and begin to change for Colonel Brandon. The feelings of Marian began to change for Colonel Brandon. On the other hand, let me know something about Eleanor and Edward. As you know that Edward was engaged with a girl named Lucy. Lucy was very mean and greedy girl. She deceived Edward and ran away anywhere else. Edward did not look where Lucy has gone, leaving Edward alone. Now Edward is alone. His property has taken away also. There was none who can help her. At last he came to Eleanor, and Mr. Brandon gave him a job and says him that live here and I will help you. Gradually everything was getting well now. Colonel Brandon is with Marian. And the story of Colonel Brandon and Marian has been set, and the story of Edward and Eleanor is also getting gradually coming on the line. So Edward is coming close to Eleanor. One day, all of a sudden, John Willoughby comes and he seeks forgiveness of Marian and says it was his problem. He needs some money, so he married with someone else. Please forgive me. And after seeking her forgiveness, he went away from there. At last, Colonel Brandon married with Marian and Eleanor with Edward. So, friend, in this way, the whole problem of Dashwood family has solved. This was the summary of Sense and Sensibility. Jane Austen has given the name of the title Sense and Sensibility because Eleanor always acted with her sense and reason, but Marian was an emotional girl, a girl of sensibility. As we know that Jane Austen always gives the title of his play according the behavior and temper of the hero and heroines, according to the main character of the play. So friend, that's all. Have a good day.